Me either. It is what it is. All right, we're going.
We're on?
Yep, we're on. What are we getting into?
What's up, peeps?
What are we getting into?
Oh, I don't know. A lot, I think, huh? Rome's burning. We can get into some of that. What you feeling?
We were talking at work yesterday, and it was funny because the guys were like, "You should do a podcast."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we were talking.
Did you throw it out there?
No,
not
I'm like,
yet,
I'm
huh?
like, you guys think I should? We're
Yeah.
talking a little later. I'm like, you guys think I could really do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome.
But the one guy asked, he said, what do you think that brain fart thing is? And so, I paused. I'm like, well, I wonder if we are an antenna, right, and we're receiving the signal.
Yeah.
You ever have satellite TV?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is
Have the
true or
signal
not.
go out?
Right. Well, like, but it'd be nice though, and you'd get like a glitch.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it was an airplane getting between you and the signal.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, because it'd be a nice day,
Right.
and all of a sudden it would just.
Flock of geese.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's how I broke it down to
Yeah.
them. I'm like, well, maybe it's, maybe something hit the signal coming to
Yeah.
you.
Burped it a little.
What do you think?
That's deep. I like it. I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, what is that brain fart thing?
Yeah.
Like,
The signal gets interrupted.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, I never really thought of that,
Right out of the gate, huh? I just
You
smashed
just
it with
always
that,
be
huh?
like, I'm having a brain fart,
Right.
brain hiccup.
But it's
Right.
like you can't like, it's something too, like,
Right.
and you're
just
trying to
blank.
find it, right? Like,
Yeah.
where's that information at? Where it's like,
Neurons are firing. Trying to
then all of a sudden it comes to you.
Yeah.
The name of that person you were trying to
Right.
think of, or whatever
Name
it
of
was.
a song.
Right.
Yeah, artist.
It's like they're up in the
actor.
ship, going, where's that at? Where's that at? Searching files,
Right. Yeah. Reminds me of a cartoon the little one watches.
Or, like I said, that data is coming down, something temporarily interrupts it, and you're like, and then it
Boom,
comes through,
and
and
then
then,
it's it.
and then you're off with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that a lot of times, especially when you're telling someone about a movie or something, and you're like, it's got that actor,
Right.
and you know who it is,
Right.
and you know who it is, but you can't retrieve it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's just like you're hitting a wall in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
And like in that moment, it's almost like you can't think of anything else, right? It's just
Right.
like blank. It's like
Yeah.
you're like searching the database, like
Right.
where is that? Like
Yeah. Huh. I never thought of it that way. That's interesting. Makes sense.
I don't know.
Where's the signal coming from then?
Right. Right.
We dig at it.
Right.
That's interesting.
Then I said that would almost explain death.
Yeah. How
You ever
so?
see those huge servers, and they have these cartridges that come out of them,
Yeah.
and they got to put new ones in when they go bad?
Right.
What if you're one of those cartridges?
Wow.
And they just put a new one in, someone else
Yeah.
is reborn fresh.
That's deep. Yeah. So you're really in a pod somewhere right now. You don't even know it. Plugged
Well,
into the metaverse or what?
Maybe not even.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I guess it would depend on.
Or
What
are you thinking
consciousness-
more supernatural?
I'm thinking more of like, maybe this isn't as significant as we think it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe this is a rest stop, if there
Yeah.
truly are multiple dimensions and we're in the third dimension right now,
Right.
this is just a pit stop to the fourth, right?
Right.
Like, the signal, whatever consciousness is, whatever that signal is. It's like,
I would still
It's like-
think that, it's more than a pit stop maybe, but, lessons. I think if we're going through multiple levels,
yeah,
I think each one, just like, when we're gaming, right? You get through the level, the next one gets a little harder, but you're learning, you're picking up things, the tools you need. All of a sudden you get to the end of the big boss that you got to fight, to get to to even the next level. Maybe this is, each stop is new lessons we need to learn to evolve.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to believe, but I know what it means. But it was interesting.
Yeah,
it's fun to throw that back and forth.
Fun to theorize about it.
Like, yeah, what is that brain fart thing? Why can't? What is consciousness? Right? Why?
Yeah.
Why you've had a dog die, right?
Oh,
and you look at the dog, right? And it's like it's gone. Like you're looking at the body, but it's like it's not there, or a loved one, right?
Right. Whatever made that dog what it was is gone.
Right. It's just you can see it's just like an empty vessel now.
It's a shell now.
It's like, where did that thing go that
spark,
made it?
Yeah, the personality,
Person
everything that
or
it
the
had.
animal that you knew. What made it? Where did that go? Because it to me, whenever I see it, it's like it's just an empty vessel. It's like you can just there's some sense that thing is gone.
Gone. Yeah, you just know
it's not.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Isn't that weird though?
That is weird.
Where did they go? Right. No, it's right. It's
yeah. There's the $1 million question. Right? Every human being is probably asked themselves at least once in their life.
But isn't it weird that feeling you get when you look at them?
Yeah.
Like, they're not there.
That's true.
There's that emptiness, like whatever it was. I don't know.
You can almost sense the soul's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's deeper than just it's not alive anymore.
Right.
It feels. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It doesn't feel like this died and
No, I don't get that.
Because you know that.
I don't get that from a deer.
No. Because you don't know the deer. You know what? I would say the one, I've had a couple over the years that almost became pets. And, you watch them long enough, they have personality too, right? Like any animal does. But I think with, like, your dog, that's part of your family, right? That's your fur baby. So the personality in that dog so intimately.
But even in a dog, there's something deeper there than a deer. Because you watch that dog, it dreams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's something going on.
Yeah, I've watched them snarl. I've watched them run.
They do that little bark that... You see their cheeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see their eyes twitching.
Yeah, they got the rapid eye movement, the paws move like they're trying to
run.
Something... my beagles, I used to think they're probably dreaming about chasing rabbits or something.
Yeah. So there's something... It seems to me there's a higher level there.
When... I guess as a religious aspect to it, that would make sense, because dogs are companions.
Yeah.
Deer are food. They're different.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So on that level, that'd make perfect sense why it would be. Yeah.
Because like I said, Grant, I still take it very seriously harvesting a deer, obviously.
Right.
We've talked about that before.
Sure.
It's like I take that very seriously.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why, I shoot that bull every day because I want to make the quickest, most ethical, humane kill I possibly can. I want that deer to be dead in seconds.
I don't ever want.
I want it to not even know what happened.
To suffer. Right.
I want it to hear a noise and take off running, and it's just black. Right.
It's
right.
Running through a field on the other side. You know what I mean?
I take that so seriously, though.
Right.
Because I understand I'm taking the life.
Right.
I'm taking a life of an animal, and so. But when I go up to the deer, it's not like when I see a dead dog.
Right.
It doesn't even have to be my dog. It's like I see a dead dog, and it's like
Yeah.
Like it's just gone.
I think it's because they're companions.
Yeah.
They're different.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly there's a different relationship.
I did start a new tradition, really, with game. I seen it once on TV.
With
and
what?
I think with deer, with game.
Game animals. Okay.
Game animals. Okay. Animals that we're hunting.
Yeah.
They take a branch. Usually it's a pine, a chunk of a pine tree, and you put it in the animal's mouth. After you harvest it, and it symbolizes that animal's last meal. It's a way of respect. And I started doing that. I thought, that's a neat tradition. I I respect that. That's kind of cool. A way of
Really?
honoring that animal. Yeah. So like when you take your selfie with your deer that you shoot, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you put a pine limb or I've
Hmm.
seen them use other, ferns if there's no little pine limb there to put
Right.
in there. But I thought even the next deer that I mount, I would probably mount it with that
Hmm.
in its mouth. I thought it's really neat. Just seems, a good way of honoring that animal
Mm-hmm.
that gave its life so that you can live.
Mm-hmm.
They die so that you don't have to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And even if you go to the store and buy chicken, I mean,
Yeah.
at one time it was alive. At least for now, if they have their way, it'll all be manufactured out of crickets, I
Right.
guess. But right now, it's real meat.
Maybe.
Maybe,
I don't.
yeah,
I
we
don't
might
think
even be
people.
past it
I
by
don't.
now.
I don't think people are gonna stand for
I hope not.
their
I don't want to
meat
eat
being
crickets.
made out of crickets. And
No.
is there really enough crickets to feed
Man, I don't know how
8
many crickets.
billion
I
people?
mean, you could put a. I used to fish with crickets, and
Yeah.
just one of them little cricket traps, you could fit a lot in there. But
I'm not eating crickets.
no, no, I'm not eating crickets. No, that's bug juice. I don't care how much protein is in that. And I love the survival shows. I've
Right.
I've watched them all. I've studied them all. I love primitive survival skills. I'm good with it myself. But when I watch them eat larvae, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather eat grass,
Yeah.
or some plant than watching those guys eat them big giant larvae is just gross.
No, thank you.
And that's what Bill Gates wants us to eat.
Well, shit in one hand, wish in the other.
Yeah, we got to eat the beetles and the crickets so that they can eat steak.
Right.
You know,
I don't think so.
nope. And that ain't a Republican and a Democrat thing. That's just the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
That's that elitist attitude that they have. So, really bugs me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been grinding on me lately.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how far they would ever get with it. I just don't think publicly it would ever be accepted. People are,
I
you
hope
would see
not.
resistance.
But bunch of beta males, who knows? Maybe.
How far have they gotten with the not meat, whatever that shit's
Yeah,
called,
the fake meat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not beef, whatever.
Yeah. Doesn't Burger King sell one of those? Yeah,
I had
think
heard
they
that.
do.
I saw jerky at the gas station,
Yeah.
and it was the not meat, whatever.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
A beef jerky started
yeah,
it too?
right at the. Yeah.
Soybean jerky, huh?
Yeah, a guy in front of me was looking at it, and he's like, "Nah."
No. Turn you into a soy boy, I guess. I don't know. Nothing against them, but
I mean,
I don't want to be one personally. I like
guess
meat.
If you have,
I'm a carnivore.
if that's your jam, and that's where you want to roll, whatever. But
yeah, someone wants to eat crickets. Bon appetit, man. Knock yourself out. You can have my share.
I just wonder, like,
I'm eating a squirrel or something.
Like, I get that it's coming from a place of compassion, right? Like, they don't want an animal to die.
It?
But yeah, I think I truly believe that your average person that is following into that life, so whether it's vegan or vegetarian,
the sheep,
I think they are truly doing it
out of a place of goodness.
Right. They're trying, but
yeah, I'll concede that.
The animals are going to die regardless.
Sure, because the people on top are not going to eat beetles.
Well, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like their choice not to partake. No. I'm saying their choice not to partake in eating meat is because they don't believe in the killing and harm, a factory farming. Sure. They don't want to partake. They don't want to buy into that. They don't want to give their money to that. So they choose to, pursue a life where they are not going to eat animals.
So how does that translate into the animals still dying?
Because the animals still are going to die. Whether I kill that deer or not, it's going to die. And the most humane, ethical death it's going to die is by the hands of a hunter typically.
Right. Versus old age and disease or
by a car.
overpopulation. We know
how coyotes eat deer, right? And wolves.
Yep. Alive.
They're not compassionate killers. No. They don't just snap their necks.
Do you ever notice a cat is, though? We were talking about this a couple podcasts ago about, coyotes and stuff, and it kind of hit me like, yeah, a coyote will grab them from the back end. They, canines, they eat them while they're alive. But a cat always grabs their game by the jugular and kills them. Yeah.
I've never watched, like, mountain lion or cougars or...
And I thought, wow, I know as mean as a cat is, because we watch them torture like mice and chipmunks.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, you watch these cats out here, and they do not go for the quick kill.
But
when they kill a chipmunk or a mouse, they
I was watching videos of mountain lions taking game, and like anything like a deer, they grab it right by the throat, right by the jugular.
Okay, so with the exception of big cats, which we don't have typically around here, so.
It was just something funny that kind of stuck in my head. Like, out of all the animals that would show little compassion, it would be a cat,
But, so anyway, I get they're not partaking in that, but the animal's going to die regardless. Sure. What they should do is be promoting the ethical treatment and humane treatment of animals while they're alive, and the ethical and humane harvesting.
I mean, as hunters, we're managing that herd of animals.
And I know we can't hunt everything, but the factory farming, the way that livestock's kept, we can do a better job at the way the lives these animals live. And that's why I think, like, the free-range beef, where it's more expensive.
Smaller farms.
Right. It's more expensive, but we should all be willing to pay a little more to have that animal live a better
more natural life,
and have a very humane, ethical death.
Because we've seen the Megatron farms. Mm-hmm. Everything's jammed in there. Nothing has room. Right. They barely move around. It's like a cow fell down and they're hitting it with a forklift to get it back up on its feet. Probably had mad cow disease or something. They were getting ready to butcher a bunch of them. It was disgusting.
Right.
I hate seeing animals treated that way. Mm-hmm. Small farms, if you got a small farm close by and you can buy beef directly from them, they typically treat their animals a lot more humane, I think.
And I think we need to get back to get away from these
communities,
massive 3 farms in the whole U.S. control 90% of the beef.
I agree.
I think it needs to be more, regional, state, local level, where you have local, small beef farms.
Little communities, you get to know the farm itself. Like you're buying meat directly from them.
And then if there is a disease or something that breaks out, we can isolate it to a very small area. What happens, even tomatoes or lettuce, right?
They get a disease.
They end up with something, and then all of a sudden they're recalling it from 15 states.
Yeah.
And it's like...
That's true. That's a very good point.
Compared to where, if it was small and localized again and there was an issue, you could isolate it to a very small area.
I think you're going to see a lot of that. I think there's a transition going on right now that I think people see that need for some safety in your community that way, some security for you, that regardless of what's going on in the world, you guys all work together in a community to take care of each other. Yeah. I think there's a lot of benefit to that. I think the food would be a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then, then if you needed manure for your garden, guess what?
Go down there and get a truckload,
fertilize your garden. Now it's not contaminating and local rivers and lakes and shit because all the runoff from one big mega farm that,
But I think over the years they've trained people away from that, and I always believed it was because it was a form of control. That's my opinion. Why?
I think
regulate the shit out of the little guys, corporate. Make it impossible.
I think it's just like any other industry.
Greed too.
It just grows, and we're just gonna gobble up all the small ones, and we'll centralize it right here, where we can control every aspect of the intake and distribution.
Right.
And we can, build this huge facility that's super efficient instead of trying to manage 15 of them.
Rules of the jungle, right? Eat or be eaten. So they gobble up all the small guys. I don't know. to me, it seems darker, but
Yeah.
I seem to be the one that wears the tinfoil hat a lot.
Yeah.
I like my conspiracy
I like
theories,
hearing it though.
you know.
I like hearing it. It's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, it sure is. The good ones, anyways. It keeps life interesting. I don't think there's a dark force behind every little thing, but yeah, I think there's a lot of dirtiness in the world that happens, especially with like food. It's just known you control food, you control people, and if you look back over history, Rome, Egypt, all of them, they controlled a lot of people. In one way or another, you were a slave to the system. I just hate the idea of watching Americans being forced into a bread line for moldy bread and government cheese. And I think if you take away all the small farms,
I don't think they quite have enough control to do that.
Oh, I would agree.
I think they're too incompetent.
Yeah, I hope so.
I don't think, because of the way we live here,
right?
I still think there's enough checks and balances that there's not one group of people or one party,
right?
Yeah, that has enough control to do something like that.
And in my mind, I think it's not about party lines, because I think they're in it together, truthfully. I think maybe some of the new people you see kind of busting through and getting in there kind of are against the machine. But I think, I look at Lindsey Graham. There's a good example. You are a piece of crap. Like, seriously. He's trying to pass some abortion law, federal bill. The Supreme Court just heard this and kicked it back to the states. That's what people want. Decentralize this a little bit. Empower the states, which is the way it was supposed to be. And why is he out there with a sign, let's make abortion illegal federally? And you know why? Because he's going to help Democrats that way. Because he's a career politician that's been there 100 years, like Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them. They're all part of the same machine. They're just a different cog in the same machine. They want the same things. And they play us like, you see, like, the Democrats have had complete control for the last few years. Everything is shit. Food's more, gas is more. The quality of life sucks for a lot of people compared to what it was 5 years ago. Now, okay, well, let's vote these guys out and put Republicans in. And you know what? Over 4 years, they'll start doing the same shit, and then we'll get sick of it, and then the pendulum swings the other way, and they play us like this, and they know it. They know that neither one of them are going to do anything. They get on there and they talk. And, even some of them that I really liked, I've watched, get on TV, say the right things, but then when it comes time for them to vote against something, it's like, oh, there was this little compromise, and look we're working together now. Mm-hmm. This is a bipartisan issue now, and it gets through. And, it's like, maybe they tweaked it a little, but it's still, it's been systematically taking us in a direction. So when you say, well, I don't think we're there yet. I don't think they have the amount of control. They don't even have the competency. I agree. But if you look back, I think you can see this path that they've had us on. Slowly but surely, they're moving the goalpost over and over and over and over and over. So right now, could they? No, maybe not. But, 10 years from now? 10 years ago, the things that are happening now, had people told us that then, we would have laughed. Even me and you probably would have been like, yeah, someday that's gonna happen, but in the next 5, 7, 10 years, no way, no way will that happen. And it is. So,
but then you could also say that 10 or 20 years ago, would you think there'd be as many states that have constitutional carry as they do today?
There is some good things that's happening.
And do you think Roe versus Wade would have been overturned even 5 years ago?
Yeah, no way.
Right?
I would never believe that.
I think
so. I
think the pendulum is swinging. I think a lot of people are waking up.
Yeah, I agree.
That were okay with certain things happening because it didn't affect them, right? Or they didn't know they were happening.
Wasn't their issue,
right? But now it is affecting them.
Sure, enough of it. Because now you get soccer moms that are pissed off because of the things that's being taught to their kids in school. I agree. I think we're on the edge right now that we can push back and buy us time. And if we don't, then, we're gonna go to a really dark place in this country, unfortunately.
I guess it depends on your definition of dark, because I don't see. I see it going the way it's always gone. Like this, like the pendulum swung this way, it's gonna swing that way. It's just
Yeah,
this constant thing, right? We're gonna have an economic downturn. It's gonna suck probably now for about
right.
10 years,
Sure.
and then slowly
Which the
we're
economy's
gonna
always going to go up
right,
and down. It always has.
right. How
Climate
many
change.
how
That's
many
why they
times
call it climate change and not global warming anymore, because the climate's always going to change.
how many
You
times have we
know.
gone through this in our life alone? It's what,
Right.
third time now we've
Yeah,
gone
probably
through.
the third recession.
Mm-hmm.
You know. We'll see. Dark place. My definition, or I guess what
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that is depression. Maybe really. Like look, and we talked about this before. Like we're a blessed country. We got more natural resources here than anywhere else in
Yeah.
the world. Like this is a rich, rich country. Even
Mm-hmm.
the poorest people among us have access to refrigeration, air conditioning, plumbing, most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where do poor people anywhere else in the world live the way they do here?
Mm-hmm.
They don't. But man, there's a lot of room for that to change, when food skyrockets. So, when you have mass starvation here, maybe not like you will in other places in the world, but I think as they move us in this direction, we're surrendering more and more of our freedom all the time. And yeah, there's a lot of constitutional carry now. There needs to be more. So we have gained some ground in some areas and we've lost it in others. But I think now we're on the edge of being out of balance, where we're losing more than we're gaining, and we need to be really careful with that.
Yeah, it amazes me how some elected officials, like you see other elected officials go after them, and you're like,
Yeah,
makes you wonder why, right?
right.
Like, what are they such a threat that they get all these other people
To
to
go
kick
after
them
them.
off of committees
Yeah,
or whatever?
so hard.
It's like,
And honestly, I think a lot of times those are the people that are standing against the machine
yeah,
and not
that's what I wonder
necessarily
sometimes.
part of
Yeah,
it. So they got to boot him. I think that was the whole problem with Trump. I think Trump really wasn't, whether he's a good guy or not, I don't give a shit. You can argue it. I'm
mm-hmm.
not a Trump fanatic by
Mm-hmm.
any means, but I believe he was not really part of that machine. And, they panicked.
It's
Like he was
hard.
going to expose some of that. And I think, that's why he was under constant investigation through his whole presidency. And even now, they're still trying to throw this guy in jail.
It's so hard to tell because of everything that, like I said, the whole
right.
time,
But
right?
where have
There
we
was an
ever seen a
investigation. There
president
was
treated this way? So, I mean, even when you say, well, we've been through this multiple times, so we have, but this is different. Like, I'm seeing things happen now that it's never happened in our lifetime. I
but
wouldn't have believed that it would.
he didn't do himself any favors
No.
either, and that was the problem. Is he couldn't get out of his own way long
Right.
enough
Oh,
for anybody
yeah,
to see the truth,
I
right?
believe he's a narcissist.
Because it was almost like they knew the trigger, right?
right.
Like we can do this and this and this, and when he
They played
starts
him.
getting a little momentum,
Sure.
we'll do this, and we know he's
And he
gonna
kept
get
people.
triggered,
I
and
think
he's gonna say shit, and he's gonna make
Right.
himself look like an ass. And
I think he really did know. I think if you look at the people that he put around him in his cabinet, like some of them were just, they were part of this. They were part of the machine. And God, he did not have good people around him. He didn't do himself any favors. And we know he gets a little preoccupied with his name, right? He wants to
Mhm.
see that from space, right?
Mhm.
Flashing lights. That's probably on a border wall,
Mhm.
that would rival the Great Wall of China, and it says Trump, Trump, Trump. Like, yeah, I think he got a little distracted with his own, greatness, but they played him, no doubt, and what they're doing now it's ridiculous. And you know, he declassified some documents. He took some shit home. Every one of them do. You know, we watched Hillary Clinton do it. Oh, Bill Clinton, you know, remember, what was the guy's name that was shoving the documents down his pants? Remember that? And he's smuggling them out. Sandy or something, I think was his name. We'll look that up and come back to it. But yeah, it was like Bill Clinton's advisor, and he was stuffing classified documents down his pants, and he got caught. He had destroyed some of them. You know, how come that guy never went to jail or prison? What, you know, I read that, or heard, excuse me, I heard it, that Barack Obama took like 30,000 documents with him. Presidents do. They want to put them in their presidential library. You know what I mean?
I had never even heard of it until this time.
Yeah, I
didn't know the reason why.
Every president has done this, and no one has been under criminal investigation. You know, Bill Clinton he went through some shit, and even that, I stuck up for the guy. You know, like, it's his personal life. I don't care about him and Monica Lewinsky. Kind of sucks he did it in the Oval Office, because that's kind of our house, right? It was a little disrespectful. Get a hotel room, Slick Willie. You know, take her out to a cornfield somewhere. I don't care. Not in that place, but outside of that, if he cheats on his wife, it's not my business.
How many times does that happen in that room?
Yeah, oh, come on, Kennedy and I don't know, was it the blonde bombshell, Marilyn Monroe? You know,
how many times does it happen there?
I imagine every one of those presidents.
I'd like to know.
Yeah, to be a fly in that wall.
What about when the president's gone and you're
right?
You're like some advisor there, like,
yeah, press secretary.
Shut the door.
Yeah.
Huh?
This is a real nice desk, huh?
Wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of fun and scary, wouldn't it? I mean, who gets to brag that, you know, they did that? But seriously, it's personal life. I don't care. And honestly, you know, I've never been a fan of Hillary ever. So, you know, my honest thought was, well, if she is my wife, I probably would have cheated too. You know? I don't think it shines a positive light on the presidency doing that. No, like I said,
I don't care about your personal life. Yeah, do whatever you want, whatever you want.
So this whole, what they did to him, those Republicans tried to stand in the moral high ground. I'm holier. Look at this. And, you know, every one of those guys are cheating on their wives, too. You know, they go somewhere, they get hookers.
Think so?
Hell yeah. Look at Hunter Biden, you know? I mean, look at the shit he got away with. He's on video with hookers, smoking crack. No, where's?
I'm not even hating, son.
I don't even
I'm not
care.
Even hating.
You know, it almost made me like the guy better. I want to know about the corruption of Ukraine.
I told you before. I do the same shit.
If you had all the power and all the money in the world, what do?
I do the
you
same
do this.
shit.
You do the shit that no one else in the world can do and get away
I
with,
would
right?
Done the same damn thing.
Yeah, I
would have been snorting fucking coke off their asses too.
Yeah, you know, you cannot tell me that those Republicans that said shame, shame, shame.
How many of their sons have done the same shit?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So you know, when it comes to issues like that, like.
But this is the problem is, what do they do, right? What do all these right-leaning personalities, I mean, you can't even call them radio personalities anymore, because they all have podcasts and you know, internet show, whatever,
multimedia personalities, I guess.
The big ones, right? What did they do? Oh, this is so terrible. Oh, don't act like your fucking nephew hasn't done this before.
Yeah, like you're really offended, you know?
Yeah, but this is
300 tons of fentanyl is being pumped into this country probably a day for a reason. You know what I mean? Because they're all...
And this is why, like, you sent me a video the other day, and I'm like, dude, I can't.
That was a good video.
I've been lied. I just feel like I have been completely betrayed by that individual.
Right.
And, you know, just...
Sure. You can call them out,
because you know what it always is? It's this is so terrible, and next week we're going to tell you what we can do about it.
Right.
And this half-hour sponsor is Gold Blank.
Yeah.
You want to protect your financial investment?
I watched one of the guys you send me all the time, the financial guru there, you know, and I mean, he does the same thing. Oh, everything's bad, the dollar's crashing, buy gold, this is where I get it from. You know, and I thought about that, because when you messaged me back and said, yeah, I just can't even get into that guy, and I thought, you know, they're all the same.
Yeah.
They, you know, they're all they have to. And I thought about us and our podcast, or
I don't watch
YouTube
that other
video.
guy anymore either. His videos still pop up. I'm just like, here we go again.
And I thought, would we do the same? I mean, you just said right now that, if you're rich, you'd be doing the lines and the strippers and living life large.
I don't think. I think I hold myself to a higher standard.
When it comes to advertising,
even if we end
but
up
not
with
hookers. I love it. Hey, give me the hookers, but man, you're not advertising on my YouTube channel.
I didn't say I'm not advertising.
Right.
I'm saying I'm not going to sit
I'm busting your nuts.
Right. No, that's cool. I dig it. I'm not going to sit here and drum you up with some stories I can dig up on the internet and then follow it up with a commercial to buy this product.
Right.
Knowing that I slightly twisted a bunch of stories together to build up some fear in you. Knowing I'm going to throw this sponsor in here at the end of this to get you to...
Well, Blood and Guts sell newspapers, right? So it's the same.
But I'm saying I hold myself to a little higher standard, even if we do end up with sponsors. I'm not going to... we're just going to... Hey.
Because right now, I mean, if I could sell anything, it'd probably be, survival buckets of, food's getting expensive. Things are kind of not looking real good. Buy this bucket of freeze-dried shit, 30 days worth of food for you and your family. Brought to you by blah, blah, blah. Now, back to let's talk some shit about politicians.
Right, but I'm not going to sit here and pound out 4 stories before that commercial about food prices and pictures of empty shelves and to try to scare you into buying.
There's a couple of them that I respect because they outright say, look, I'm advertising this. I'm going to throw a plug out for them. I have to. They're they're sponsoring the channel. Yeah. It helps us do this so that we can get the information to you. I respect that. It's part of the system. It's,
But again, you can see how certain people.
But they're if
you listen to enough of them, you'll see the build-up.
Yeah,
and you can almost call out when the commercial's going to come
about
and what the commercial's going to be for.
It's getting to the climax.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I've been.
I don't want to partake in it. I have no desire. I have no desire to be wealthy, preying on the emotions and innocence of other people, damn well knowing I'm doing it. But I don't have any desire to do it. I just don't want to partake because then we're just another cog in that same machine, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to be part of it.
Trying to make change here, right?
Right. That's
trying to make people think outside the box.
Yeah,
right?
just think. That was always our motto, right? Was just to get people to think. I'm not telling them what to think.
Right.
Just think. Just slow down a little bit and think about it.
I'm not saying there's not some truth in what they're saying. We all see the grocery prices. We see shelf, but
no one can say that things are good right now. No. They're not.
But
it was funny. I put some gas in.
Intentionally cherry pick some empty shelf photos and just cherry pick some articles about an isolated incident in this area. That's all my.
But
point
I do think I do see some good in the media. Again, it's kind of decentralized. It's like even us right now are we're putting media out there, right? Yeah. We're creating media. Right. I like that because I think you start to see a lot of the stories that are buried that never get to the surface, and that does help people think, like crime. There's a lot of people that think there's just, things are all right now, and you're starting to see a lot of the independent media personalities. They're reporting this stuff, and you know what? Crime's pretty bad right now. There's a lot of brazen crimes happening that, 10 years ago, people have always broke into houses to steal your shit, right? But usually it's at midnight. It's not at high noon, right in the middle of the day, like. But again, smash and grabs that's going.
These stories I hear, I'm not really surprised in the areas I hear them in.
But you're starting to see them in areas that do surprise me. Areas in the country. One of the channels I had sent you that video was, and I'll just call that channel. It's fine. Was the Warrior Poet. Mm-hmm. He's out in the country. Mm-hmm. And he's mucking stalls. His chicken coop and some stalls for his farm animals. He hears his kid yelling. There's a guy standing on the porch. He goes into red alert, like, okay, because he's way back off the road. No one just walks up onto your porch there, which I've lived that way, so I understand exactly what he's saying about that alarm going off. Like, wow, because it takes a certain kind of person to walk 300 yards up a driveway to a house that you can't see back in the woods. That you're brave or dumb. And he gets up there, and the guy's strung out on meth. He's overdosing. He takes him to the hospital. I mean, in the end, he saved his life. It was a good story, but it highlighted as safe and tactical as this guy is. Like it showed some weaknesses he had in his system that he was scrambling to fix. But even there, I mean, the guy said he was living in the woods with a bunch of other people not far from there, and he had smoked meth a half an hour earlier and was overdosing and needed to go to the hospital. Man, I think it happens a lot more in the rural areas now than it ever did.
Again, like you're saying, like, oh, he's, some holes in security. Like, what? Like, there was a guy on meth. Like,
right. But like when Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all the the protests, the mostly fiery but mostly peaceful protests we've seen, those were happening in small towns that I never even heard of before. It wasn't just like New York and Chicago and LA or Portland.
But unless you're going to invest tens of thousands of dollars into early warning systems and hire a whole fucking platoon of former SEALs to watch your property,
you're at risk for it, right?
Right. I mean, you can only do what you can do.
But at least people are reporting it. You're aware of, you know what I mean? Like, at least you have the potential to be made aware of this, that this is growing, this is getting worse, and you have to be careful.
I still don't know.
Yeah, I know me and you disagree on that. So I'm like, you think it's always been this way, kind of, and we're just, I don't know, hearing about it more. Me, I think it's worse. I just posted an article yesterday of the high school I went to that, two kids got stabbed. Police arrested the other kid. Like, I think that happens in a lot of schools now. I think, the grooming of the children, that they're trying to normalize that. I believe that. I think at least in my experience in my life, looking back, I think, 10 years ago, we called a pedophile, not a MAP or whatever the acronym is for them now. Like, they're trying to piggyback on the,
and even that
LGBT,
though, when certain people report on these stories about grooming or certain books being allowed in schools,
right?
It's always in areas that I would not be surprised that happened.
Sure.
In that, just like, okay, it's like,
I don't know what's happening in Florida, and that's pretty conservative area, and Virginia.
You're saying a state, though. The whole state isn't conservative. No different than the whole state.
But a small town, you would expect that in a small town in Virginia. Like, I wouldn't.
I don't know, because I don't know enough about the demographics and the politics of said area in Virginia.
Right, and I know that even a red state has blue townships and communities, and in blue states, there's California. There's a lot of Republicans that live in California, Northern California, right?
State is red. It's just a very densely populated, overwhelming majority.
So can I tell you for sure that this happened in a red or blue district? No, but in my mind, when I think of Virginia, I think of it being mostly a conservative area. So when
who sowed those seeds, though?
Right,
is my problem. They didn't go down. They didn't go to the level of the mayor in this town is a Republican or Democrat, the school board, or individuals are leaning this way.
I'll give you an example. So the guy, this 41 or 42-year-old guy that just took his SUV and ran over that 18-year-old young man, because he was a Republican. And we got mom and, pop from January 6th that are taken out of their home at gunpoint with, SWAT team, no knock warrant, breaks the door down, arrests them. They go somewhere, probably Guantanamo Bay, who knows. No representation, legal representation, no, they're solitary confinement. Like some of these people, they're just gone.
Right.
No, they haven't had their court date yet. This guy runs over a kid for political reasons, and he's drunk, his second drunk driving, and calls the police, tells them, hey, I did you guys a favor, man. Like, I got rid of one of these right-wing conservative terrorist people, like Biden likes to call them, and they arrest him, give him a breathalyzer. He's over the limit. He's definitely drunk driving and, killed this kid. He's in jail for 2 days. They give him the judge, $50,000 bond. And they show the video of him, complaining that he's not a flight risk. He has a family. He doesn't want to lose his home. Doesn't even really understand why they arrested him in the first place. So this shows maybe he has a little bit of mental problem too, which, my thought is right now, if you're voting Democrat, you have mental problems. But he's out. He's out with his family. Now, when in our lifetime would you ever expect to see like that happen? And it's that difference, that blatant in your face, we're not even hiding it, difference now in the way the law is handed out. Whether you're red or whether you're blue, I've never seen it in my life like that.
The only thing I would wonder is, are there different rules for different states and different districts that justify
good question.
One
Let's
over
look it
the
up.
other?
Let's do a little research in that.
That's what I would have to ask.
Because no doubt, different states kind of handle the law differently.
Right. Because they're probably not investigating it as a political murder. I don't know, whatever you would call it.
Wouldn't that make you a terrorist?
They're probably considering it a drunk driving accident, I would assume, at the mean.
But he said he did it on purpose because the kid was Republican. The kid was running and called his mom, begging for help because this guy's chasing him down.
Yeah.
And by the time the mom got there,
But I'm saying, okay.
But he said he ran him over because he was a conservative terrorist, Republican terrorist,
But they probably haven't filed all the charges yet, right?
But why is he out? I mean, second drunk driving, killed a kid, even if it was an accident, you killed somebody.
Yeah.
And you're demonstrating maybe you have a little mental problem, and you're just going to let him out to do what? Run another one over?
I'd have to know if that's consistent with other cases in that state.
I think that when you look at across
I'm
the
not saying
country,
it's right. Yeah, you kill somebody drunk driving. I don't think you should be let out of jail under any circumstances.
I think that when the narrative, the one that has been painted that I do believe is, George Soros and his DAs that he loved to fund, and I think no one pays attention to local politics, right? You go in, you hit the ballot, you check out your governor, you check off president, but, all them other little names down the list, they either vote straight ticket down the party line, or, you're just checking names. You didn't do any research in these, so who's the district attorney? You don't know. And Soros funded a lot of these DAs across the country, and I think a lot of them are in red areas, and they're letting these criminals come in and out, New York with their cashless bail now. I mean, this guy that rapes this girl in the subway while everyone's standing around videoing it with their cell phones,
Well, this is where I would hope, whether it's this town you're talking about where this kid is killed, or New York.
That was North Dakota, I think, where the kid was
I would
ran
hope
over.
If the people that live there don't agree with this, they'll vote a different judge, they'll vote a different sheriff, they'll vote a different, whoever they have to ensure.
But
that
it's
the
these
rules
stories
get
that are
changed.
coming out that people hear that's what lights the fire. Virginia, they voted in a Republican, a conservative. I think this guy I think he spent like $150 or something in his campaign, and he ended up winning. Because
winning a primary though, right? He didn't win the seat.
No, he won the seat.
Did he?
Yeah, because the parents were mad when COVID happened. Everyone's in their lockdown, and they're hearing the Zoom class with their kids and what they were learning.
Monetized.
Yep. Sorry, that is true. But you know what I mean? Like that is what happened, and he won. And you know what I mean? There was no way he should have ever been able to win that contest, but he did. And so I think when, it's important to get these stories out, because it does hopefully get people to pay attention to the same reason we're doing it right now, just to get people to think, think about this stuff a little bit. Yeah. Next time when you got a ballot in front of you, know the names of them people that are on there, and at least kind of what they stand for. You know what I mean? Vote for people that are in line with your beliefs.
Right.
Regardless of what your beliefs are, look for people that represent you.
And that's the only thing I can say. If those people are fine in New York with that happening, whatever happened on that subway,
yeah,
then they chose that life, right? They keep voting in that direction.
I agree with that. You know, you keep voting it in.
Like,
you know, like you're voting for these corrupt politicians that's been there forever.
Not like this is hidden, right? Anybody can access this information. They can see what they're voting for, and they can see these videos of this crime. Like,
you know, some of the good that I would say, you know, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my positive because I'm usually the doom and gloom guy in this relationship. Is, you know, social media is a good thing. Independent media, you know, I like that. You know, get out there, report, tell people what you're seeing, tell people what you're thinking. Let's start the conversation. Let's have the conversation, you know, and let's see. We can bat this back and forth. We'll find the truth, you know. Those are good things. So there's with technology and how, you know, we're in the matrix that I get. Yeah, that's some of the good that comes out of it. You know, it's not all bad, for sure.
Yeah, and the political ads right now are just hilarious. When you watch the hypocrisy,
it's scandalous, man.
I sit there, and I barely watch. I don't even have cable. You know, just we have an antenna, and we get 40 local channels.
I stream.
And
I'm guilty. I binge watch stuff, and I stream.
Yeah, we stream too. But I'm saying just like, you know, just the local news, we watching the weather, and then we'll be talking, forget it's still on in the background, then you'll hear this political
I look up
ad,
some local stuff on my phone.
It's like, where were you on that subject 2 years ago?
Exactly.
It's funny, because I remember hearing you...
with the hookers then.
You know, I remember hearing you say this then.
Matter of fact, I would vote for Hunter Biden. I wish he'd run. You know what I mean? Like, hey, put him out there. You want me to vote for you? Put a campaign ad out there. You doing cocaine on some stripper's ass. Woo! Got my vote. There's someone that's real, you know? I'm kidding. Partially. Yeah.
Our own governor, I saw an ad the other day, and this individual...
Please tell me it was about sailboats or something. No. Yachts. Demonetized.
This individual
God, the FBI's gonna get
was saying something about, like, you know, we got the students back in class. I'm like, you fucking shut them down.
You were the one that took them out, right? You know, for a year.
But praising it as like a good job, how quickly they got him back in the classroom. I'm like,
that's amazing. And you know how many people will believe that? That's the sad part, because they're just, everybody's busy, everybody's distracted with this right here. Everybody's,
it was hilarious.
That is funny, the hypocrisy in that. Wow.
Yeah.
No, see, if you want me to vote for you, do a campaign ad of you out on your yacht. You know what I mean? Own it. Own what it is, you know?
I just thought the hypocrisy, you know?
Yeah. That's terrible.
I seen another one about law enforcement or something. I'm like, where were you a little while ago on
when they were like defund the police and burning the police station down that had the cops in there, you know?
Yeah,
no, who went to jail for that? No.
Now they're like, and I'm gonna be tough on crime. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, I give these people the resources they need. It's like, now that, you know, like what you're saying, now that people are noticing crime or it's being perceived, there is more. Also, now
you care about crime.
Whichever way the wind blows, right? That's the way the sail just catches it and they go with it.
They're terrible. So, you know, is there hope? You know, is this? Look, I'm not standing there with the cardboard sign that says "Repent, the end is near." I may believe that, but there's hope. There's you know, you're getting some people elected that are, you know.
I don't think you believe it.
What, that the end is near?
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't.
Not completely. No. I think there's hope.
No.
You know?
Because I think if you truly thought the end is near, you'd sell off every possession you have.
And go to the mountain.
You would have built a little fucking box in the middle of the woods somewhere, and you would have stacked it with those food buckets.
Didn't I do
and
that?
And fire starters.
Didn't I do that?
Kind of. Yeah, you were still kind. You were like. You were kind of like.
I was in the line. I haven't gotten rid of all my buckets.
I'm gonna keep 1 foot.
Yeah.
on this side of the fence.
Sure, I was straddling it a
Right.
little, you know, because you're waiting. Because I think, honestly, okay, we'll put a little religious spin to it.
This is
like,
where
no one knows when the end comes, right?
And my canary in the coal mine
Yeah.
are the rich people.
Right.
As long as Joe Rogan's taking trips to fucking England or wherever he's going.
Well, I agree. I
I'm
use
not
that
worried,
as a barometer.
because I guarantee you he knows those people are better connected than we will ever be to people on the inside.
Sure.
And if there was any real risk of nuclear war or a strike, they're not going to be stuck in fucking Europe.
No. You know what I mean? Like, if the sea, look, if
That's
the ocean's
my
going to
barometer.
rise
When these
10 feet.
When these people start canceling their trips,
yeah.
then I'll start paying attention and
But
go, there might be something to look at.
There is
here.
some things going on. Because, like, you see Bill Gates is buying a shit ton of farmland and cattle farms, and you know what I mean? Like, he's on the record saying that the world's overpopulated, especially Africa, and then he's on, you know, this ad holding up some genetic altered corn that he helped create. Like, if I was someone in Africa, I would not want to eat that corn. Like, that's wrong.
But he's a guy talking.
But he's one of them.
He's a guy talking.
Super 1%ers, right?
This
that
much
you're
effect
watching.
on my daily life.
But you just said you watch some people as a barometer, right?
I don't watch Bill Gates as a barometer.
But I mean, he's richer than
he
Joe
is,
Rogan.
But
I think he's more connected to the system than Rogan is. If anything, I think Rogan's another outsider like Trump. I think he disrupts the shit. I don't think they like him much.
I know. I'm just throwing him out there.
Right.
There's several
But
people
I'm
in
saying,
the same
like,
situation I hear are taking trips around the world to different
global
places,
warming's happening, or climate change, whatever the hell. Global crisis now is what they call it. So that's happening. The oceans are going to rise 10 feet in the next 5 years. We're all going to die, right? Super hurricanes. That's it. Just sell your shit and, you know, get ready. And then Barack Obama buys a, you know, what was it, $30 million mansion in Martha's Vineyard, right on the water. And if you look at, you know, where do all these elitists live? They're all on coastal, beautiful mansions, right on. Would they buy a house on the water if they really, truly believed, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio really believes that the ocean's going to rise and wash it away, and he's going to buy a house there right now?
Again,
you know, and they all do.
That's my barometer, right?
Right. So I use it too. I agree. I kind of watch what they're doing and try to read the tea leaves. But there are some things that I see, like, you know, Bill Gates buying a lot of farmland that, you know, that's kind of creepy.
Well, for him, it might be a good investment.
You know,
if he's trying to create this new corn, I mean, he needs a place to grow it, or
it definitely
it's just
could
a good
be.
investment.
Or it could be more nefarious, like I think, like you control food, you control people. You're complaining all the time that the world's overpopulated.
But again, you're talking about one guy. Someone's still got to farm that land for him.
Right.
At any time, anybody can go farm that land. They can say,
"Isn't the border open right now?" And like,
but what I'm saying though is,
you don't think those pieces fit together?
At any time, anybody can say, "Fuck you, you're one guy. I'm just gonna farm this land and grow shit here." And...
But I think he's part of something bigger. You know, that's the difference. You know, you view him as one person. I view him as the face of something really ugly in the background. That's
to me
that's
just
going on
guy.
Because, you know, the devil's greatest trick is convincing everyone he didn't exist.
I think it's a fun thing to
Soros
bat
is
around.
one guy.
Right.
Schwab is one guy. You know?
Right. Again.
I think they fit together pretty neatly, though. You know.
Maybe I'm super naive.
I don't think you're naive.
I hope someone out there will get on and let me know.
I think you're looking for the good in it, you know, and I tend to look more the, you know, I'm the pessimist. You're more the optimist, at least in these kinds of things, and that's what makes our conversations fun.
Right.
Because you make me think.
Yeah,
I'll admit,
I'll lay in bed tonight and I'll ponder.
Bill Gates. You're gonna think about Bill Gates while you're sleeping. Well, that's to make some interesting dreams.
Well, I'm laying down tonight anyway. So, But I think it makes for good stories, right?
Sure.
I think it agitates people. I think we could go on here and talk about it and get people worked up. And
I don't want to rile anybody up, and I don't want to scare the hell out of anybody. I just want people to pay attention.
I'm right and you're wrong.
I hope so. I really do hope that you're right and I'm not.
If it is,
Because if I'm right, man, it's going in a really bad direction really fast.
Right.
Like, we've lost a lot of control, and someone has it. There's always going to be someone in power.
But then I see a lot of these people running for office, you know, former military, a lot of these guys that I listen to on other podcasts that will actually put them out there, you know, and say so-and-so's running for this. And I hear their story, and they're like, you know, look, like, you know, we're heading in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not here for me. You know, I'm here because, you know, I've served, and I feel it's my duty to continue serving. Right.
Yep.
Kudos.
Right.
As long as the pendulum doesn't swing too far in the other direction.
I agree. You know, I like the balance in it,
Yeah.
right? Because there are some things that Democrats stand for that I very much like and appreciate. I do. I admit it. And there's things that conservatives stand for that I very much love and appreciate, you know? I think that the magic is somewhere in the middle. And I think most people in the country, in this country anyways, are really truly in the middle. You know, I think it's fringe that you hear a lot, but, you know, those are the ones that tend to have the power. You know, right now, most of the government is controlled by liberal Democrats. And you look at the FBI and what they're doing, and, you know, like...
Yeah, I've only heard bits and pieces here and there.
It's terrible. Defund the FBI. Dismantle them and get rid of them.
Something seems off there
with
what
terrible.
I've been...
And now,
again, I don't delve too deep into it, but the story...
The whistleblowers are coming out and they're being fired.
I
mean, what the hell? You know, but if, you know, whistleblowers came out a few years ago against Trump with a bunch of bullshit that wasn't even true, and they were raised up like heroes. And that's what I mean. When justice is being dealt differently, that's we're in a war. Right. You know, that's a civil war. It really is. At least in some aspect, that's happening right now. There is a battle in this country. When they knew about Epstein and what was happening with these kids, you know, for years, they sat on that shit, you know, like, and
you're really trying to break the internet today, aren't you?
Yeah, man, I'm making sure we're getting defunded on this one. Yeah, baby. Conspiracy theories today. But like, one of the FBI agents that just came out as a whistleblower against, you know, what's going on, the corruption inside the FBI. And yeah, my brakes are probably going to fail, and I'm going to die in a fiery car wreck on the way home. I love you guys. If I'm not around next week.
We so got to get high. I just want to hear
eat a mushroom and just go for it, man. Open my eye and let's go in the rabbit hole.
I just want to sit here just and all listen to you.
We're gonna meet Alice in Wonderland and the Funny Rabbit.
I'll probably end up under the desk, apparently the fetal position,
hiding down there under bomb threat. You know, like, oh my God, the nuclear war's coming. But he says that they pull him off real work about, you know, like child sex trafficking, that kind of shit, right? That he's doing his job, he's doing this, and they pull him off of that for some fake bullshit that is not even real. They're making it up for political. They're politicized. They just are, and they're an arm of the Democratic Party right now. You cannot allow that shit to happen. Like it. So how, you know, and the other whistleblower, you know, got fired for coming out against it because, you know, he refused. They're taking him and they're swatting up to do a raid again, you know, like this. They're gonna, you know, swing through the windows and pull, you know, rifles at people's face for a misdemeanor offense. You know, they didn't even go, what I understand, they didn't even go in the building. They were just there in Washington when it happened. And you're pulling these officers that are trying to do their job the right way for, you know, you need 20 guys swatting this house of some little old lady because, you know, she took a fucking selfie in Washington. Really? You know, like, my sister just went on a trip, you know, her and her husband, and, you know, they went through Washington. They took some selfies. Hell, they were over by the White House. You know, I would too. Like, are you going to say they're terrorists now? And, you know, They're gonna kick her door down in the next week and arrest her for it. Like, it makes me sick to, and I've never seen this in my lifetime. Right. Not like this. Not so. Look at it. The devil's always been around. Good and evil. That's a battle that's happened since the beginning of time. You know, right. the brothers killed each other with a rock. You know, the first murder ever recorded in history. So there's always a battle of good and evil. But I've never seen it where they don't even hide it. They're just out there. Right. You know. It's amazing to me, and the FBI.
But evidently, there's good people there too, right?
Sure.
You're saying there's whistleblowers.
There was whistleblowers. I think 20 so far have come out now, and that
somebody's making a stink, right?
Sure.
Somebody's standing up.
Thank God.
You know,
thank God, because a lot of people they don't. You know, they celebrated. Look, if Trump broke the law, and you're going to investigate him, fine. But I want you to investigate Bill Clinton, George W. Bush. You know, Hillary Clinton. Barack Obama. I want it equal and fair, and that's what justice in this country is supposed to be. That's what it used to be at one time, you know. Right. Blind. Justice was blind. Right. Not anymore. Justice is political, and that it's scary time to live when you're in a country. What are we turning into a banana republic?
But you have to appreciate the shakeup right now, though, with the whistleblowers.
Yeah,
right? Like,
there is,
because it would be real scary if nothing was coming out and this was just progressing
and you know, some people have seen it, but you know what I mean. Like, no one's coming out of the machine.
So it's got to be kind of reassuring that people are coming out, even 20, whatever.
And that's what I mean. Like, we're kind of on the edge. If we push back, you know, we can fix some of this for sure, and buy us more time. I still think eventually, someday, it'll go that way because, you know, that's just history, right? The greatest empires in the world eventually failed at some point. So maybe we'll be the greatest country in the world for 300, 400, 500 years, maybe 1,000 before Rome falls, you know. But we'll definitely buy us some time. There is some good news, and
but
that's what I said.
But none of them started out the way ours did, though.
True.
Right.
We're the experiment, right? So we don't know. Will we last forever? I think everything dies eventually, you know, even countries, empires.
Yeah, but hopefully this one's starting out under the premise of freedom.
Yeah, my hope is that this would spread around the world and eventually affect other places, and you know, they would model their societies after that too. I don't think any people should be enslaved by their dictator. You know,
we don't have near the history that other nations have,
no.
And none of them started out where this one did. So
we started out kind of learning from some of the other failures, right, of other societies, empires. Like, you know, we very much modeled this from Rome. I mean, look at the buildings that, you know, they designed. They all have kind of that Greek Roman kind of flavor to them, the pillars and stuff that they designed. So and some Christian values, that's undeniable, you know, that's how this country started, with those, you know, those basic rules of be good to your neighbor, don't steal, you know, like.
But what I'm saying though, like, immigrants that come here, you know, it seems like
I love immigrants.
A lot of the ones that we see, and whether these are small examples made to look a certain way, but they're like, I came from that shit. You don't want that,
right?
You know.
But I also heard the report that Venezuela had emptied their prisons and sent them all northbound. You know what I mean? And our borders are open. Like right now, because it's not managed, we are not getting just good people. We're getting a lot of bad people too.
But
and when you are kind of promoting that open border policy, and you're promoting those people desperate to get into this country, some of them for a better life, and these coyotes now get to you know, sell these kids off into sex trafficking.
We don't know that all those prisoners are bad, because you just gave me an example of people
not
that
all
are
of them are
here that shouldn't be.
And I don't know the rules in Venezuela. I would assume, just my opinion, that it's probably pretty easy to end up in prison in some of these other countries. Right. You know, so I don't know that they're all bad.
So we're using.
But what I said specifically was, we're not getting all good people. We're getting some bad.
Right, but again, this is where certain people that lean in a certain direction will throw a story out there.
Right.
They're letting all these prisoners out and they're sending your way. But then they'll tell you the people on January 6th shouldn't be in prison.
Well, know what I'm saying? Right. So, but the article that I seen was like, the terrorist watch list that they have, right? And in 2019, they caught 2 people that came across the border illegally that was on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, they got 15 and not 2 or 3. They got 15. This year to date, they've gotten 72, I believe it was. And I believe, obviously, when you open the border up to everybody and it spreads through, everybody knows if you have nefarious reasons to come here, now would be the time to rush in, right?
But 2 things here. One thing, this whole terror watch list bullshit.
Right, because we could be on it for all we know. Right?
That was, okay, my first point though is they've sold us on the terror shit for 20 years. Be afraid, terrorists. And for 2, they could have you on a terror watch list and then arrest you for something and be like, oh, and by the way,
well, they did with the old people that were, not rioting on January 6th.
My point, exactly.
Right.
Again, so when they...
But if there's people on the list and they're catching, it still shows the growth of the people that were on the list, whether they were bad people or not. I don't know.
And how many people were on the list that were allowed to fly one way to this country?
Right. Yeah.
Remember those stories?
Yeah. So I want to know.
So again, this is where the waters get so
show
muddy.
Me one country in the world that was successful that had open border policy. I have not found one. Every country has a controlled border. I mean, I don't think you can sneak into Venezuela.
This is where I struggle, because overwhelmingly, one side of the political spectrum convinces you that everybody that comes across that border is carrying drugs.
No, I don't think
a terrorist.
So. I don't.
They do.
They try that, but I'm saying, me personally, I don't believe that.
I believe the overwhelming majority of these people.
I think there's a lot of good people that are trying to come here. All the kids, they're not. Bad people, terrorists that have boom boom vests and or a bunch of illegal narcotics.
This is where I struggle too, is because the people on the other side of that spectrum that want completely open borders don't pass one fucking bill to make it easier to legally come across that border.
Which we talked about before, that needs to be reformed. Right. I agree.
But again, and this is where I kind of lean into your world a little bit, because I'm like, why haven't they passed a bill? Why haven't they proposed a bill saying, look, so we can catch some of the bad people,
right?
But we want to make it easier for the good people.
Sure.
This is what
we're the melting pot of the world, right? That's what makes America so great. All the different nationalities and history of their people that come here, it makes us rich.
Right.
The different skill sets and ideas and dreams. I love that.
I don't want to live in a country full of fucking white Europeans.
No, I don't want to live in Europe. You know what I mean? I want to live here.
I like diverse populations. I like
diversity. The
Mexican guy I work with, dude. We sit there all day and he tells us stories about Mexico, and
But you can't deny when you look at the border towns in Mexico that they're rough areas. They're controlled by drug cartels. We know that that's real. That's not fantasy. And now that there's this giant rush of, instead of 1.5 million people sneaking in a year under Trump, it's pushing 3 million right now. So it's over doubled. Because the borders are open, that these guys employ the coyotes. There's a lot of money in this child sex trafficking, and they're absolutely taking advantage of that. And they're sending some shitty people. And look at the fentanyl right now that we have, the epidemic we're having in this country. I think it was over 170,000 people this year have died of fentanyl overdoses.
I've seen some statistic it was the leading cause of death between 18 and 45 or something.
So
I hadn't looked into it.
That's not fantasy. Now, where does fentanyl come from? China and Mexico. You know what I mean? It's bad shit. And when you open the border and you're just letting people walk through, obviously you're going to get a ton more of that, right? Yeah. So we need to lock that down, shut it down, quit letting these people take advantage of children, and then you want to get on TV. This stupid ass sheriff in Texas wants to, investigate DeSantis because, he flew 50 people to Martha's Vineyard. And on the same day, they found a tractor trailer park there that was abandoned with 53 immigrants, 3 of them being children that were dead, that were cooked alive in the back of, that were smuggled in here and then abandoned and left. So where's the humanity, now? Where's your human heart, and the sympathy for them? No, he's grandstanding on TV and talking about someone from a different state. He doesn't even have jurisdiction.
That's why I said they need to pass a bill and make it easier.
We need to overhaul
good people to come here.
And we need to get rid of these career politicians like Nancy Pelosi and, Lindsey Graham, all these scumbags that's been over there for 100 years. They're corrupt as hell. All they care about is, what's the next vaccine that they're going to push so that they can hurry up and buy stock in Pfizer, Big Pharma somewhere, and make a shit ton of money. And they allow that kind of stuff to happen. And I'm just saying, we're a good country. At heart, I believe that. I believe the average American person is a good citizen that cares about his neighbors, cares about his community or her community, and does not want children being trafficked across that border. So let's shut it down. Let's keep it orderly. And let's make it easier for people, good people that want to come to this country, to contribute to it, to enrich our country. Bring them in. I love it. I'm not against immigration at all. I just want it structured, managed. We need to manage that, and we're not, and why? And it's both parties, So there's my tinfoil hat moment again. They're part of the same machine, and there is a reason that's happening, There's my rant. I get a little fired up. The idea of them, bring the shit those kids got to go through to try to get in this country just to have a good life. God, and any adult that would even partake into that's dark. That's just dark shit, man. So, Hunter Biden hanging out with some hookers and smoking crack. I don't care. You know what? At least they're adults. If they were children, like,
Right.
Epstein and where's the list? Give us the list. They know Maxwell's in jail. Who was she trafficking these kids to? They know. They're not giving us the list. We're really getting demonetized during this one. Give us the list. I want to know. It wasn't just, was Bill Cosby there? Like, let's find out all the different rich and famous people that went there and enjoyed the pleasure of some little child, and they're not going to give it up. They're protecting them. That's a dark world when that happens, in my mind. So I'm a little bit passionate about that issue. I can't believe that there's any politician in this country that has any sort of authority that is okay with that shit happening. That the FBI can pull people, their officers off, good work that they need to do to save these kids, and then put them on some political bullshit that isn't even real. It's just Russiagate all over again. Trump is not the president. He's not. Now, he may run again. Maybe he won't. But right now, he's not the president. He's an ex-president. Get over it. Right. This whole red man, or orange man. Like, come on. Pick some real problems, and let's fix some shit,
Yeah, it makes you wonder why their focus is on this one thing.
I think they're so afraid of that he's going to run again. Like, are you really that scared of Orange Man? Like, I want to know what he knows.
My thing is, we're going to, trade one 78-year-old man for another one. 78-year-old man? Like,
yeah. Enough.
That was my biggest thing.
That's why I said let Hunter run.
Holy shit.
Yeah. What do these people even
know how to... They probably know how to send an email. Obviously, Trump knew how to tweet, but...
He knows how to tweet.
But I just don't... I don't know if they really understand the problems
of the world today.
Yeah.
And technology and the metaverse and just all these things that are coming in our future. They have no idea.
I think they see... the metaverse is a video game,
right? Was there even paved roads when Nancy Pelosi got a driver's license? I bet you there's fucking dirt roads, man. I bet you there wasn't even pavement. concrete wasn't even created yet.
Oh, I'm
you
sure
know,
it
come
was,
on.
but
Well, that's sarcasm,
know,
but
I know.
yeah, I mean, come on.
Facetious.
What the hell do these people know about the problems
Right.
we're facing now, and how things really impact us and affect us? Like they don't. They're oblivious. Get rid of them, man. It's time. We need fresh, new people in there. Term limits. My God, put term limits on these people. I would trade. I would. You know, even though there's a good person there and it sucks to lose them, if you're still cycling people through, you're still going to get more good people, and you're going to get fresh ideas. And just, man, these people that are just, they get in there and they never leave. Like, they've been on Capitol Hill for 50 years. Right. Wow. And what are they doing? Nothing. They don't even wear the mask that they make us wear. Oh, I wasn't supposed to. I'm sorry. I screwed this video all up. Maybe we should re-record this one.
You were talking about climate change earlier.
Yeah.
Well, how crazy is it? Last week when we recorded, we had the fucking AC blowing.
Yeah.
I had to fire up the outdoor wood burner today.
And today we're burning wood, man.
Holy shit.
Woo.
Dude, I went out to get some kindling.
Yeah.
And I walked over that way.
Yeah.
And I'm picking up some kindling. That fox was laying.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Scared the shit out of me. Dude, he wasn't 20 feet.
Wow.
Right there.
He's just waiting.
Jumped up, took off running, hit the trail, and he looked back at me and kept going. Wow. I was like,
he's
20 feet.
Right
dude, that's
there.
here to the...
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me. He was laying right down in those ferns and he's watching the chickens.
Beautiful animal, majestic as hell. I love watching them, but man,
I would have needed a shotgun. His rifle, I wouldn't. He was bounding too much. Even when he stopped and looked back, it was just for a second. Man, he was beautiful though.
God, I love those animals, but
can't wait to get that pelt.
Yep.
Oh God, that thing's beautiful.
You gotta skin him, man, because he's a problem, and he's gonna stay a problem.
Well, I mean,
he's bold. He's laying right there waiting now.
He's already smoked 4 chickens.
Right. So I mean, he's chicken tastes good, right? Yeah. You almost can't blame him.
Probably why he looks so healthy.
Right? Yeah. You've been feeding him well.
Big for a fox. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, scared the shit out of me though.
Man, you wouldn't expect that.
No, I didn't expect him to be laying right there.
Hopefully, just the chickens can.
I want him to stick around till like late October. I want him to get that
let him
winter
get that
coat.
real winter coat.
He's still got a summer
Yeah,
coat, and they don't look as nice as.
No, let him fill out and get nice and fluffy.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
know he won't stay around once we get snow, so it's gonna have to be late October, early November.
You'll have to get him soon,
Yeah.
and then he's gonna. Yeah, he probably won't be hanging out that close. I don't know. As long as you got chickens, though, I mean, he ain't gonna get too far from it.
Bro.
Yeah, no, happier note now that we talked about all the doom and gloom and what was it, the world is going to be controlled by Bill Gates. The world is going to flood and we're all going to die. Let's talk about some happy stuff. I get my bow in a couple of days.
I saw it hanging up there.
Is it?
Yeah, I've already been up there twice this week.
Nice. I can't wait. I'm excited.
I saw it hanging
I'm
up
pumped.
there. Yeah.
I am stoked right out,
Bro, I sent my mom this. I shouldn't even say this because I know she listens to the podcast.
Uh-oh. Don't get mad, Mom.
I sent her this Rogan podcast, and he's talking to this guy, and they're talking about mushrooms and shit, and the guy's an author.
I love their mushrooms.
I saw her the other day, and she's like, I ordered so-and-so's book. I'm like, who? She
No
goes
way.
She goes from that Rogan podcast. Me. Then
That's
she starts
awesome.
talking to me about microdosing psilocybin.
Really? Wow. Go
Well, how
Mom.
do you know you get the right dose? And
Oh.
I had to give her the
Give her
old
some lessons.
Yeah, I had to give her the old rundown on psilocybin. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, what about when does the dose become addictive? I said, you don't have to worry about getting addicted to psilocybin.
There's some
good on her. I blew my mind. I was
good on
so
her,
happy.
man.
I was like, no shit, like that's cool as hell.
Man, I don't know. I would love to open my third eye, but going down the rabbit hole, I'm pretty far down there as it is. What the hell would happen if I ate some fungus?
Remember microdosing though. You're not taking.
Right.
You're not taking.
Right.
It
I was
for
thinking about
right?
Right.
It's just supposed to even the keel, right?
Right.
Like,
That's the idea.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't mind taking a trip.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ones that, eat the fungus and go for it. Like, ooh-wee. Man, what would I find down that hole? I don't know. Should we record it? Here's a podcast for you.
I don't think so.
No.
I think that's more, very personal, very,
Well, yeah, man, you're stepping over to the other side, and that is very
finding
personal.
out about yourself.
Yeah, talking to some, I don't know, gargoyles and shit that's over there. I'd like to see what's on the other side. Go over and hang out for a little bit.
I would like to.
I want to see.
Are
they aliens? Are they demons?
I think we need to get the old THC vape pen.
Sure.
Take a hit and just. I wanted to sit here and listen to you go
for
off
a little
on,
bit. Go on one of my tangents.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Dude, that's deep, bro.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, we
can record that one.
Yeah, that one we can record.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Listen us up a little bit.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
Because
I don't drink, so.
No, me either. Not anymore. I don't know. I just, No, I don't miss it, We had some fun times. We drank the beer around the fire more than once. But yeah, it's kind of like, I've done it. It's just not anything I really, once in a while I'll have a drink with dinner.
Yeah, I don't have any problem doing it. Just something in me.
I just don't crave it.
I thought about it, like, maybe we should do a shot of whiskey before the podcast.
Celebrate
but then I'm
it a little bit, but
I don't know. I've gone so long now.
Right. The pen probably work better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Just take one.
Yeah, I was on an area that people walk on the trail. It's a paved trail, right? Yeah. I'll say that it's a paved trail, and people walk and ride bikes and rollerblade on it, whatever. And I'm with a friend. We take a walk down there, and this guy walks by. He's got his pen. He's like, "Dude, want to hit the pen?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, man. Thank you." It was just funny. The guy was just. He's burning it up, walking down there all by himself, and just taking a nature walk. That was cool.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny, though. Hey, dude, want to hit the pen? I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. You're all right, though. Thank you, That was funny. I didn't expect that, all the times, exercising on that trail. That's the first time that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
So are we going to do a shorter video today? Because we got a later start, or... about an hour and a half in, but it's up to you. It's how you're feeling.
With it.
All right.
Get the shit out there.
I always got energy, so I don't run out.
Yeah, we got a little time.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, before we get into anything, get into anything deeper. But
and dinner's not a big deal tonight. It'll go pretty quick.
Amen. So what else? We dealt with immigration.
I can't wait for you to get your bow, man.
Yeah, that's I'm excited.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it'll take me back to my places then,
Yeah,
what do they call it? Your chi, get my chi back.
I was running the other day.
Yeah.
And man, it's like my fucking mind does not stop, right?
Mm-mm.
Like.
Especially when you're running.
Yeah, and
you're anything like me, man. My mind went nuts when I ran.
I don't know why. You'd think, you can't, I'm doing this pretty difficult thing, like exerting all this energy, and like, I'll realize like 2 songs have gone by and I didn't even hear them.
Yep.
And the reason I know it's the time, right? Average song, 3-4 minutes, and it's like, all of a sudden, I've already gone another mile. My watch tells me, mile 3, was this fast. I'm like, holy shit, like, I missed a couple songs, in my mind. But what I noticed about shooting out there, my mind's focused.
Yeah, it's different.
Focused on trying to get that arrow.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I noticed it. I actually didn't realize it until yesterday when I was out there shooting. I'm like, holy shit.
That's a really good point.
I wonder if that's why I'm so invested in it.
Probably,
it's the one time
it's
that
the
my
one
mind
place
isn't doing anything
your meditation,
else. All I'm doing is thinking about getting that arrow in there, right?
That's true.
Getting that heroin.
Because like shooting, I'm very, my mind quiets down. I'm very focused on what I'm doing.
Not thinking about anything else.
Yep.
Not thinking about money. Not thinking about work. Not thinking about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nothing.
I hadn't really thought of it, like, because I know when I'm running, like I do the same thing. My mind's all over the place, thinking about everything, and it never shuts off like yours,
Even when I'm in the gym lifting weights, like shit's going on. I'm looking at the clock. Shit, I gotta hurry up and pound these sets out because I gotta get home.
Yeah, I was on the property cutting trees down, in my mind, like I'm running chainsaw like a lumberjack out there, but my mind is all over. Like I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, obviously, but because I'm being safe and that's important, but still yet my mind somehow could be thinking all this stuff, and all my theories and going down the rabbit hole like I like to do. But shooting's different. That is true.
I didn't notice it till yesterday.
I hadn't ever really thought of that, but when you said that, I absolutely, when I'm shooting, I'm focused on that. It's quiet. My mind
going through that
down.
shot process. The grip. Getting that draw.
Just feeling.
Focus on the spot you want to hit. Don't focus on the pin. It's kind of opposite of when we shoot handguns, right? Where we focus on that front sight. Now here I got to focus on the spot I want to hit. Just be aware of that pin.
Right.
The float's okay. Float's pull through the shot. Pull through, like working through that shot
that
process.
Video that I sent you from Ronan about the handgun on the front sight. It's kind of cool you brought that up because I was running that drill. It's good. It's really interesting, and I was building off what we're talking about. Like I was drilling what I learned on that video, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. But again, my mind was focused. And I wasn't even technically shooting. This was just, acclimating your target and your sight. And I was just running through that drill that he was teaching people, and my mind was just super focused and just quiet. Like even that. That's wow. I never really thought of that. That's kind of cool. Well, couple of days. I get to go pick it up in a couple of days. I'm excited. So, I can't wait to shoot. Just, God, I've missed that,
Yeah, I didn't even realize I didn't even realize it was your bow. I was sitting there, I'm like,
how'd it look?
I was waiting for him.
Look good?
Yeah, I was waiting for him, and to stand there, mind kind of. I'm looking at that bow, and I'm like, I'm just looking at the components on it and shit. And I'm looking at the camera. Then it just kind of hit me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's your bow.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'm gonna go get it in a couple of days, and I'll be shooting every day. You know how it goes.
I
can't wait.
It's rare I miss a day. Like I gotta be just completely jam packed full, not a minute to spare.
What's funny? I've kind of noticed that a betterness in you. And I think that's some of it, a more calmness to your demeanor. You know what I mean?
I haven't been able to pinpoint it either because I agitated and fucking high strung and worried and anxiety, and it's and
you definitely are in a good place. You're I wonder if that's why. Because the time frame kind of lines up right. And
it's almost like even today before we had to go do that thing that I was doing today, which is why we're recording this later.
Right.
I stuck out there for about 20 minutes.
Still got
like it's almost like whether it's the running or the yoga or which I suck at meditation.
Yeah.
I'm good for about 15 seconds, and then the blackness goes away, and it's just
then my mind goes.
It's a camera reel, and I pull it back in. I really suck at meditation.
It's hard.
I pull it back in, I get back to black, and then
I'm getting better, but it's hard. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done with my mind is to try to just quiet it and meditate. And I've been practicing because I think I really believe it's good for your soul and for you, to be able to do that. Some yoga. I started doing some yoga.
I hadn't thought about it when you said the timeline.
Yeah, the timeline matches up. I kind of wonder if that really just because you have that release and it's just kind of helped you relax and there's definitely it's a noticeable difference in you for sure.
Yeah, because it is really the only time where like I said, I didn't even notice it till just yesterday. I've been at this a while, and it's like
And I think,
Oh,
you know,
shit,
between like shooting, some meditation, some yoga, hopefully we can do some martial arts training. We're going to look into that.
Yeah.
I think I found a spot for
Oh
us.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like it. I think
Yeah.
we'll talk more about
yeah.
it later. But yeah, I think I found us a dojo to
Oh
go
yeah.
to, and that'll be good too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, just some good exercise and
Yeah,
know,
because again, you know, your mind's got to be focused on
right on that. Oh
that.
yeah, for
It
sure.
can't be. It can't be off.
Yeah, scattered into all the conspiracies and
I think it
rabbit
forces
holes.
it. I think it
Right.
forces it.
It forces you to
Kind of like
focus on
that archery, you know, like
Yeah.
good luck. Your mind starts wandering.
My middle son I had in martial arts, and I think he was 4 years old when we put him in there. Probably one of the best decisions as a father I ever made. But you notice his demeanor was always controlled, calm, you know. And I really believe it was just that lifestyle of martial arts just taught him his, you know, place of zen and control,
And then
you know,
the boost in confidence
yes,
too, right?
absolutely. You know what I mean? Like he walked around with his head high and straight,
because
you know.
you're not so worried.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he could take care of himself. He knew that.
Because even if you don't live in a dangerous area, we still hold those primitive instincts,
Yeah,
right?
it's still in us, right?
Right.
It's in our DNA.
You know, like, oh shit, you know, I gotta constantly be watching out.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited to kind of get into some of that. I think me and you doing that together would be awesome. Like I'm excited, you know, between that and doing some shooting. Like, God, life is gonna be good. Maybe it'll calm me down a little. God knows I'm a little wired, so
I was mentoring a young man at work yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, his wife's going on a cruise with a girlfriend. And he got really insecure about it.
Uh-oh.
To the point that she booked him a spot on the cruise. She's like, look, if this is going to affect our marriage, you know.
Well, good on her, but that's too
but
bad.
I really
you know,
pulled him in. I'm like, look, dude, for one, don't let anybody ever have that control over you.
Right.
And for two,
yeah, that's a bad idea.
I should say A, B, like, if you're that worried about her going on a cruise and something happening, it can happen here right now. You're not with her.
Right. What's she doing right now?
What kind of person are you married to if you're worried about that, right?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of life are you living?
Maybe you need a better relationship, you know, with someone.
And it's not that she would ever do that. That's the thing. I'm like, I'm confused why you're so insecure about this thing.
Because it's not a problem with her, it's a problem with him.
It is, right, exactly.
Exactly.
But what I'm telling him is, like, dude, you're potentially pushing her away.
Like, you're building a barrier.
Right.
And, you know, we've all had things where we've been insecure about throughout our life. I think all of us have had it touch us in one way or another. But in a relationship, man, that's cancer.
But at this age, I'm learning, you know, and I'm glad I can pass this knowledge on and mentor him a little bit and hopefully change his perspective a little bit.
Because, I mean, if she's going to do it, she's going to do it. Whether she's on a cruise or whether you're at work.
And he's like, well, just the thought of her being in a sunny place in the bikini and other guys. And I'm like...
If she's beautiful, she's beautiful with clothes on. You know what I mean? Like, it still ain't going to stop guys from...
I'd be like, send me some pictures poolside, you know?
Yeah, like, you know? Make sure your girlfriend's in it, too.
Yeah, right. Like...
right. You know? Show me that bikini, baby.
Well, so what if someone slips or something and takes advantage? I'm like, dude, it's a cruise ship. They have cameras. They have people watching.
Gotta be careful with that.
You do, but this is...
I had an ex that had it that happened in a bar once, but she's using the buddy system. She's not by herself.
Well, not only that, but cruise ships have cameras. They have people watching. Even bars, like unless you go into a real shady bar, it's in their best interest to watch people's drinks because they don't.
Roofied, right?
Huh?
They don't want people getting.
It's not good for business.
They don't want the lawsuit.
Yeah, they don't want the and they don't want. Yeah, they don't want people going. Oh, don't go to this bar because
that's
my
the
friend
date rate bar. They'll nickname it.
Right. You know, and then it ends up on the news. And nobody, you know, cruise lines don't want that shit. They take measures to ensure.
Right. They're relatively safe.
Right.
You know.
But it was.
Yeah.
It was
just sad to see someone that insecure. You know, I've been there.
I get it, but I told him.
But I'm kind of at this stage now, like, you know, and obviously I'm alone now, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, that was hard. That took some real getting used to. And I'm not saying I've adjusted to it completely. I probably haven't. It'll probably take a long time. she had some insecurities like that in the relationship, but I didn't understand it. And by the end of it, she had dealt with that. Like, she knew I was 1,000% committed. Like, I would never do anything to risk damaging that relationship. In the end, it ended anyways. But
Well,
not just guys that get insecure. I've seen women do it too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. The other guy there was like, when we were done talking, he was kind of like, hey, by the way, like, my wife is with me the way he is with his wife.
Right. Yeah.
He kind of like,
So
like, hey,
happens,
like he wanted to let it out.
You see those girls get
like
super jealous.
Why is she in that relationship? She's living her life that way. I think always that insecure and that much anxiety. Like,
I think I'm at the point like you. I've matured enough through life that my next relationship, if I'm fortunate enough to have one, I'm not gonna have those kinds of issues. I'm just not. And you waste so much time being upset and negative that you miss out like beautiful moments you could have with your partner. You know what I mean? Like you said,
or by yourself,
texting her and saying, send me some pictures of you in your bikini. Now you have a chance to flirt with your girl, right? Get on the phone and flirt with her a little bit. Have some fun and enjoy it instead of being stressed out. Or, like you said, some time alone.
Right. If you're sitting there...
I went through some therapy, I'll admit, man. I kind of needed some help. I got really depressed at the end of that last relationship. I took it kind of hard. And one of the things I learned was, to think about me a little bit. And I hadn't in so long. And, that was kind of the whole reintroduction of me shooting and stuff, was for me to live some for me and to make sure that I have some of that time away, because, being that meshed with someone sometimes is really hard,
Well, and making sure you are being away, because if you're sitting there while you're away and you're going, oh God, what is she doing? Where is she at? Like, checking her location or texting.
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like,
what kind of life is that?
Right.
That's no fun. You're taking all the pleasure out of the relationship.
Do the best job you can to pick the right person
and be a good mate, right?
Right. And then if something happens that should give you suspicion, then make it an issue.
Deal with
but
it.
Don't make it an issue before it's an issue. Right. Otherwise, you may make an issue.
And you got to know that, every relationship potentially can fail. Yeah. And no matter, I think that was the mistake. I had so much confidence in that relationship that I blindsided me, and that was hard. Now I got a little bit better outlook on things, like, we're all human. We all fail. We all make mistakes. No relationship's perfect. I don't expect my next one to be perfect, but I'm going to work really hard to be the best mate and partner I can. Right. And, if she failed in it, then shame on her. I mean, she's got to live with that, not me. And I'm done living with other people's, the stress of the things they did wrong.
Right.
They got to live with that and carry that. I'm not carrying it anymore. Right. And I've learned that, and that's helped. That's helped me kind of spring back to, because I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky, optimistic person usually. And I wasn't for a little while. It was rough. That was rough. But it's funny you said that, because she definitely had some of them characteristics that she was very insecure for a while, and I guess maybe it was just history things and her past relationships or whatnot that taught her to be that way. But
I don't know why we would carry those things to the next one.
Right.
Like,
I think it's baggage, right? And just people don't know how to let it go. Like, I was always pretty good about not carrying my baggage from one part of my life to the next. It just was a new part of life, and I submerged myself in it. Like, I tried to not bring that, because everybody's different. Just because one person does one thing doesn't mean the next person will. It just seems like we'd go into a little more of an open mind, like, these are not the two same people. Right.
Right?
Right. Well, it's good that he had you to
unless you pursue people of
And
the
a
same
certain-
nature, you know,
Yeah,
like, well, then
that-
shame on you
right.
for,
Pick a better person
you
or
know,
a different person.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, if you were like Hunter Biden, just constantly picking hookers all the time.
yeah.
I like bringing that up. Crackhead. I like that guy.
Think we'd give him on the podcast?
God, please, come on. I swear, man. Like, I'm your friend, bro. I'm not.
Wouldn't that be
I wouldn't be hostile. I want to hear the stories. Like, bring your phone, show us some pictures. Like,
I want to hear the story.
dude, you are living the life like
Yeah,
a rock
I'd
star.
like to
you
hear
know?
his life story.
Yeah, just tell us about it, man. Please come
Wouldn't
on
that
and
be
hang
amazing?
out. Oh, it'd be fun. You know. Oh yeah, I think he'd just be a blast to sit down and pick his mind a little bit. You know. Yeah, so there now we got into some relationship stuff too, some counseling, right? Yeah, you know what? It really comes down to what I've learned. I think is just live your best life. You know, I got hurt really bad in that, and then I rebounded and I refocused, and you know, got back on my goals, and that's what I'm doing right now. Focusing on those goals and accomplishing those things. I set the bar pretty high for me on some of them, and good.
And you should.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm not gonna
never settle.
No,
never settle because this might be my only one chance.
Right.
Fuck that.
And you know,
that's how you end up painting yourself in a corner and getting in a relationship you're not happy.
And a friend of yours that you hooked me up with.
I'm getting close to reaching him out about coming on the podcast.
Good, he should. You know, I owe him a dinner for sure, man. He helped me out. I was a broken mess, and you know he took the time to spend with me and give me some advice, and you know some of the things he did that, you know, he went through something similar to me, right? And by him giving me those lessons that he went through, it saved me some time for sure. You know, that I was kind of looking out for those kinds of situations now, and I could recognize them a little faster and try to correct them. And some of the ways he did, he helped me tremendously. He really did. You know.
Yeah, we should really think about reaching out to him about
I'd
coming on the
love
podcast
to sit down and just, you know,
because he didn't settle, right? Like, he made up his mind, like, okay, my next relationship, like, understanding, like, it's gonna probably take me a while to find it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna marry another woman like the one I left. Right. And I remember him talking about a guy at work, and he was like, you know, like, he sees it as like a way to get out of a bad situation, right?
Yeah.
After he didn't initially, right?
Right.
But then he realized, like, oh, like, here's a chance for me to become the person I would like to be.
Right.
And find somebody
that complements that.
Right.
Yep.
And like he saw another individual
Instead
at work get a divorce. And go right to another woman in the exact situation of his ex-wife.
Because
like,
it was familiar.
Yeah, maybe.
And he's kind of replacing the loss. You know what I mean? Because you feel that loss in a certain way.
But he felt it like as a lost opportunity.
Right.
Like, man, I wish I could get through that guy to make him realize, like,
this is a chance to have something better.
Right.
You know, sure. That's what I'm doing.
Like, level up here. Don't fucking keep.
You know, I'm trading up. I'm not going into the same.
Yeah.
You know, because I realized that I spent so much time lifting that person up that person was actually bringing me down. And you know, I'm a helper, right? I'll help anybody. You know, if you need my help, ask. You know, I didn't see it. You know, that it had happened that way. But man, it was really hard. My person that left was very negative in a lot of ways sometimes. And it just now I want someone that's gonna complement me, my personality, not someone that's gonna tear me down. And you know what, I don't think it was even on purpose necessarily. I think some of it was the drowning man syndrome, right? You know, you're drowning and someone swims out to save you, and you end up pulling them down with you because you're panicked, and you know. So, but yeah, your friend would have an incredible story. I'd love to just,
Man,
you know,
yeah, I think
do a show with him.
I think we're getting close to,
Yeah, I
you know,
think so.
we could probably make that happen.
Good.
I'm sure
That'd be fun.
I'm sure he'd be about it, you know.
His stories are hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah, you get us three in a room, like popping
yeah.
off, it'd be fun. So,
yeah.
I say let's do it.
Yeah, I think we should start
Yeah.
considering
Okay.
that, you know, guest
Right.
deal. All right, I guess we can
We're
go
gonna
make
go
some
eat.
dinner. I'm
Yeah.
hungry.
Well, thanks guys for watching. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, give us a like, help us out.
Yes, yeah. Leave a comment,
Yeah.
share the video. You know, if you find value here,
Yeah.
you know,
Tell us what you liked or what you didn't. If you hated it, tell us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll take the criticism.
there's something you'd like to hear us talk about more, something we kind of glossed over, and you want some more information on it.
Yeah. Let us know.
Or someplace we went wrong, you know.
Yeah.
What?
We're
Let
wrong
us
on
know.
some of our information. Please, man,
Yeah.
correct me because I'm not an expert.
No, not in anything. All right, talk to you guys later.
Thanks.